All right, he was heard in the video shouting freedom, freedom, freedom. Now, let me tell you the gist about this particular PDOM individual. He's a whistleblower. His name is PDOM Nigeria. He was arrested over Georgia Kumes, that's the HGF. His leaked memo exposing 1 billion naira price tag for minimum wage committee inauguration amidst other bogus charges. The formal petition, specifically addressed to the IGP with particular emphasis on the Department of the Force Intelligence, was submitted in February 12th this year. It bore a particular reference number, and the petition was titled Request for Investigation. It was duly signed by David Atta. The director played a significant role in the subsequent arrest of Isaac by the Nigerian government for unauthorized disclosure of classified information on his social media, an act deemed contrary to Section 1B and punishable under Section 7 subsection 1 of the Official Secrets Act of 1962. He was arrested on August 5th, 2024 by officials from the National Cyber Crime Center for suspected cyber-related offenses. David Hondein has also been fingered in this particular case. We'll watch and see how it has its field day in court. We'll watch and see how that plays out. It's really interesting to see just how far we're willing to take situations or issues like this, because he's a journalist who has decided to expose documents from the government, from closed quarters, and all of a sudden, instead of focusing on the document, you're focusing on the individual. Okay, fine. It's a law. It's in an act where you cannot divulge secret documents and all that. Okay, fine. Then how about you deal with the individual for the crime, and then you also deal with the other crime that he has exposed? We'll watch and see how all of this will play out. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawale, flies into Sokoto with a delegation of service chiefs to wipe out banditry in the northeast. You remember the president has given an order that he should go there and exterminate some of these bandits. Well, we'll be discussing the state of the nation on the 8 o'clock hour with Larry Ogwego, and one of the issues that I would like to touchlight is the issue of security. I was having a conversation yesterday with a military man, and he talked about the fact that for every single place that you see bandits killed a particular individual, there's some sort of political thing involved, specifically mineral resources. Well, that's part of some of the things that have been said about issues like banditry, insurgency, and all that. But we'll be discussing it with Larry Ogoego on the 8 o'clock hour. You want to stick around for that. Officially, NNPC has increased the fuel price to 855 naira per liter. It's really, really interesting because this morning, upon leaving the house, the prices with which I was charged initially as at yesterday evening changed this morning. It's such an interesting situation, but hey, we'll watch and see how all that plays out. Now, taking a move from the state of the nation, let's look at PDP for a moment. And Wike has threatened the PDP governors who are loyal to a Fubara, but the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Ibrahim Abdullahi, has talked about the fact that Wike threatening the PDP governors was a reckless statement, and the PDP isn't behind him, and he doesn't know we don't know what putting fire in a state for a governor means. Whatever he was saying was born out of disappointment. Well, I mean, we had that conversation yesterday, because what do you mean by you will put fire in every other state of governors who are loyal to a Fubara? Why do you? Anyway, let's not even get into that, but let's listen to what this particular individual, Ibrahim Abdullahi, the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, has to say about Wike and his threats to the governors.
That's an entitled opinion of Wike, and for those of us who have watched him within the last 10 years since becoming the governor of Rivers State, Wike is given to doing things his own way, which is assertiveness, speaking the way he feels like without minding the consequences. That was a reckless statement, I must start with. We did not support it in any way. We are not behind him for saying all of that. We don't know what constitutes putting fire in a state for a governor. And I don't think there's a governor of the PDP that would allow him come to his state and put fire, whatever that means. Whatever he was saying was born out of the disappointment that the governor of Bauchi State is making some effort to, intervene in the outcome of the primaries of his state. But you will expect the chairman of the PDP Governors Forum in his capacity, to do or to intervene in the outcome of the crisis brewing in Rivers State, which for a long time people have been taking PDP over. I did meet professors speaking about it. Everyone expected us to have solved this problem before this stage. But
why is it taking so long?
Well, it's trying to balance the interest. At no point did Wike come out to tell you that he's not a PDP member. And to that extent, we are not going to, cast, aspersion on him or the sledgehammer, to terminate his political life by saying he's not one of us. He's been a very integral part of our journey. He has played a very vital role as governor, outstanding performance. He's one of the best we have had over his period of overseeing the affairs of River State. And you could see even coming here in the FCT, just 1 year, he surpassed what others have done 8 years performing. So these are some of the things. We consider him as a prominent member of the PDP and an asset, going forward. So we don't expect us to just, disengage with him. But we need him to be very careful. We have cautioned him over all of these things, but you cannot tame Wike. That's the situation. It's unfortunate.
So this is, you're saying you have to live with it and you cannot do more than cautioning him is what you're saying. As a party, are you saying Wike is stronger and bigger than the People's Democratic Party?
But certainly that's impossible. No member of the PDP will be stronger than the PDP. PDP has a way of resolving its problem. I've always argued that this is a political party that has survived the test of time. It's the elephant in the house, 25 years down the drain. Other political parties that were formed about the same time in house 25 years down the drain. Other political parties that were formed about the same time in 1998 have all fizzled out in the thin air or metamorphosed into other platforms, including the ruling party, to produce power. But PDP remained the same with texture, color, and objectives. So PDP is going to have its internal mechanism of resolving the problem, one of which is the constitution of 2 committees only a fortnight ago, one to look into the problems of reconciliation and the other discipline, which Wike will be facing in the fullness of time. So what else is a political party expected to do?
Can you give us, an insight as to what this disciplinary committee will be doing? We hear he has been invited. Has he shown up? And when he shows up, what next?
No, not only him. All of the persons that petitions were received against across the 36 states of the
All right. Well, that was the voice of the Deputy National Publicity Secretary of the PDP, Ibrahim Abdullahi, talking about Wike and his threat to the PDP governors. Anyway, that's as much as we can take on this particular hour. When we come back on the 8 o'clock hour, we'll be discussing the state of the nation, looking at the fact that fuel prices have officially increased, what that would mean for Nigerians moving forward. Also, we'll be looking at other issues as well. Labour demanding a reversal